because of those lugs. In the center, it's really compliant, but then on the outside, it gets stiffer and stiffer. But as you can see, oh yeah, this is gonna be a world of difference. This will be great, much better. This Wraith 1.9 needs some help. The VXTs, they seem to be pretty sticky tires. However, the foams that came with them they were too hard for this weight of rig. As you can see, there's hardly any compliance. We get, if I just lift the rig, we get hardly any bulge in that sidewall there. So the rig is special, but it's not quite special enough to get preferred parking at a store. So let's make this rig a little bit more special. Let's make it climb a little better. I need to take off my other front wheel. I'm gonna keep those foams in the rear because having stiffer foams in the rear is actually good for climbing, so that you can keep all of your reach and not have your rig kind of, you know, try to do a dance when it's on the rear tires. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch out just the front foams right now. And I specifically designed these printed foams for the VXL tire. And we're gonna just set this out of the way. I've got some that I designed. Pretty much all that you're seeing on the table are designed for the KLRs, V2s. And then last night, I just designed these for the VXTs. And these are the 86 we're gonna try, and it's replacing this. As you can see, the height is vastly different. These are shorter because I want this air gap in the tire so that we can have some tread folding. And then there's gonna be the secondary printed portion underneath that, and then the tertiary and, I don't know, quadratary, the four. So this is kind of like a 4-stage if you consider air being one of the stages, 3-stage if you only consider this. But I do have air. An air gap is one of the stages. You can just look straight on, you can see how much air gap that I've got. It's significant. It's not huge, but it's significant. It'll be enough that I can tell already. We'll have that. So I need probably this SAE wrench, because these are Vanquish wheels, and I did design these for the inner ring on a Vanquish wheel. Now if the foam is too small to slip over your lock ring, then you can always just heat the TPU up with a hair dryer and it'll stretch and it'll slip on, and then it'll be nice and solid. I definitely didn't want an air gap in between the bead lock ring and the printed foam, the no foam, the Zome, the Gnome, the foam. We're gonna have to come up with some name. All right, so let's look and see on these VXTs. I got them embossed. I put a little lighter on, or Sharpie on there so you can kind of see VXT 86. And let's see, it looks like we are a millimeter tight, but a millimeter, yeah, it'll stretch. Perfect. So that's how it goes in there, nice and tight. I have the width of the inside pretty much the same as the ring. It looks like just maybe a couple millimeters difference. On the other ones that I designed, they were for TGH, all of these, they're for TGH rims, and it is exactly the width on the inside as the beadlock ring, so that we don't have any sliding back and forth. And this one's so tight that I'm doubting that we'll have any sliding. If we do, it's like 2 minutes in CAD change. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. Yeah, so I've already got one stuffed into this tire. We're just gonna put this in here. You got to get past the rubber first, because the rubber will get trapped inside. I'd say it's maybe a little bit more difficult than installing a normal foam, just because there's not as much stretch. But there you go, slip it in, slide it in, and then make sure it's centered. And now, are these directional? I don't think these are directional treads. Nope. So pop this into one side, and since it is a Vanquish wheel, we just put the back ring on, and that is it. There we go. Line it up, bolt it together. There is one nice thing about the Vanquish wheels. You know, we got all these scale bolts on the front, but once you put them together, it's like between 4 and 6 little screws on the back, and they're 440. We're using a 3/32 Allen. That's what we're doing. So there we go. Usually what I'll do is just put two of them opposing each other. And then we lose a bead. Oh well, undo it again. So that is the downside of these as well, is sometimes the bead will slip out. It can be slightly difficult sometimes to keep it all together. Just slightly. Go, bead is set. So I will hold down this beadlock ring this time. Make sure that we don't have it slip out. Now, since this one uses 6 bolts, I think we could probably do 3. And it'd be a little bit more even, but I'm just going to put all 6 into it. Easy as pie. Easy as somebody else making the pie. Now, these wheels, I believe, are actually vented. You can see, you can't see, I can see, looking in here, that there's a little bit of gap every now and then, like a machined gap in between the two inner and outer, or outside and inside clamshell pieces or rim pieces. I don't know what to call them for this design. But that makes it where we don't have to vent our tires, because normally I would. There we are, bolted together, looking like it's all sitting pretty. There we go. Boop, boop, all tight. Now, I think our bead's probably set. Yep, she's not pulling out. Ooh, yeah, that feels a lot better. I think I could probably even go softer. Those 84s that are printing right now, that'll be a good test. What these 86s should do, we can just see. If I actually handled that one so much that it, yeah. You can even see on the tread profile, look how different that tread profile looks. A little wider, a little shorter actually. And now we get so much more compliance. It's almost like an aired down tire, and that's exactly what I want. The tread itself is still a little stiff. So we could go through and break some of these lugs up, these really big side lugs. Going through and siping them would actually help that a lot, because a lot of the stiffness that I feel is because of those lugs. In the center it's really compliant, but then on the outside it gets stiffer and stiffer. But as you can see, oh yeah, this is gonna be a world of difference. This will be great, much better. Well, let's just do the other one. I'm amazed at how well the printed foams work, considering how little time that I have doing them, because honestly the third ones that I made and tested on that guy up there, they worked extremely well. And maybe some degree standing on the backs of giants, to where I could look at another foam and say, yeah, it should look about like that, and then just copied it. Or maybe I just got lucky. Who knows? But as far as the outside edges, you know, the insides, the first 2 stages, I didn't quite copy, but I definitely looked at other ones to see, you know, how do they have it arranged. But then on the outside, I did something completely different than anything that I've seen, and it works very well. And I kind of feel like I should maybe hold that secret in just a little bit. If y'all saw, I don't know which one of my previous videos where I pontificated about making 3D printed foams, I did actually give up a secret in there. So I don't even know which video it is, but the information is out there if you want it. But for the time being, I am going to keep the details to myself on exactly what I did. but it worked really well. It worked way better than I thought it would. So yeah, there we go. I guess I'm gonna have to start another bag of foams. All right, I gave away 2 trash bag sized foams, trash bag sized trash bags filled with foams and tires and stuff. And now what am I doing? I'm gonna start building them back up again, I guess. There we go, non-directional, just cram it in there. There we go. Yeah, and just a little tighter than trying to slip through a foam. These don't have as much give without heating them up, but there we go. Popped right in. Easy as that. And one more time, making sure non-directional. There we go, non-directional. At least I'm sticking to it. Now we just need to get that beads, that beads, those beads, them beads, getting them beads to sit. Sit now. I'm totally not a hick, I swear. Yes, listen to me in my non-regional diction. There's no hick. No, sir. Not saying that there's anything wrong with a hick. Just saying that was an accidental slip. Non-regional diction, that's all that I know. You'd be surprised to know that I am from nowhere in the US. Nowhere at all. In fact, New Yorkers talk too fast and Southerners talk too slow. That's where I'm from. I have what we call a North American accent. You know, it actually took me a really long time to get rid of my Southern accent. And then when I had finally done it, I realized that I missed it. But on the other hand, people could understand what I was saying. So maybe a little plus and a little minus to that. How about y'all? What kind of accent do you have? And do people have problems understanding you? When you travel around for events, I don't know, I feel like the crawler world, nobody calls anybody else out on their accents. And there's a lot of people in Alabama and Georgia and Tennessee that are crawlers. So when you go to events, there's a lot of Southern people there. And I never hear any like Californians making fun of the accent. You know, at first, when we were crawling, early days, people would give everybody else a hard time, but it was a much smaller, tight-knit community. And it was just to give you a hard time. It was not actually saying like, you must be dumb because you talk slow. Or I guess it would be, you sound like you're dumb because you talk slow, sir. Whereas the other person would be like, yeah, I don't know what you mean, man. Just because I draw my O's a little long doesn't mean I'm slow. Y'all should hear my brother talk. Yeah, cameraman's chuckling. He's still got the full drawl of Georgia. He lived down there a little longer than I did. You know, I moved up here in like, what I've been, like 14 years old or so. He stayed down there until mid-20s, maybe. So, you know, long enough to really have it set in. And he also never worked on non-regional diction. I was a real estate agent for a period of time. And like I said, people couldn't understand me on the phone. Like, hey, y'all want to go down there and see that thing? What? Excuse me? And I also had a lower register. And that didn't help either. But it was problematic for me on the phone, enough to where I tried to enunciate and say T's. People don't say T's in Georgia. No, they don't. Going to the store. It is not going to the store. It is going to the store. I'm going to go down to the store right there. You want anything? No. No, I don't. All right, let's see. How much bite do we get? Well, it's definitely flexing. It's definitely flexing more. So I think, oh yeah, success. These will grip much better. And we can just look at the rear. How much tread flex do we have on the rear? Almost none. There's a little bit, you know, lifting up the vehicle. How much? Oh yeah. How much on the front there? Lots. That's gonna be, oh yeah, look at all that tread flex. Look at all that slop in the drivetrain. Probably in the locker, I guess. Oh yeah. We're gonna have to go crawl this. Let's see, do I have my full-size battery still in here, or did I take it out like a good person? It is not in here. Excellent. All right, well, I think I'm gonna use those stock foams in the rear. I'm not sure if we can actually film this today. We'll see how cold it is. Cameras really don't like going from warm into cold. We might have the sensors freeze up on us, you know, fog over or whatever. So on a future video, at some point in time, I'm gonna go have to crawl this and have some fun. But there you go, installed some new foams, some no foams, some non-foams, some gnomes, little gnomes. That's what we're gonna call them right now. And I think I'm gonna like them. The big thing is, you know, it's like 24 degrees outside. Are they going to get rock hard, or will my 4th stage air in the outside make it to where it really doesn't matter anymore? I think it's gonna work fine. So there we go. Hey, thanks for tuning in. And if you do have any questions about this, leave it down below and I'll do my best to get to them. Or if you have any questions about non-regional diction, I'll do my best to answer those comments. So thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.